My name is Elowen Ashcroft. I'm 35 years old. And the day I collapsed in the emergency room, I finally realized something that took my family decades to teach me. Love means nothing when it's only expected from one person. I spent 11 years as an unnurse saving strangers, but when I needed someone to save me, my own parents never showed up. Instead, they spent the afternoon at our family lake house laughing, drinking mimosas, and posting a photo online that read, "Finally, a day without the drama." The drama they were celebrating was me bleeding internally in a hospital bed. What none of them knew was that the lake house where they were throwing their perfect family day legally belonged to me. 6 years earlier, I'd quietly saved it from foreclosure, paid every overdue tax bill, and signed every repair invoice. Their names disappeared from the deed that same day. Mine didn't. They just never bothered to ask. The doctors said I had a bleeding stomach ulcer that had gone untreated for weeks because I'd ignored every warning sign while taking care of everyone else. My coworker, Rachel, called my parents as soon as I was admitted. My mother only asked 2 questions. Is she awake? And will she live? When Rachel answered yes to both, my mother simply replied, "Elowen is always fine," before hanging up. My father didn't even call. He sent a short text wishing me a quick recovery without asking which hospital I was in. I stared at that message while another bag of blood flowed into my arm, finally understanding that I'd spent my entire life earning a reputation for being dependable, only to become invisible because of it. The next morning, I opened social media and felt something inside me freeze. There they were, on the dock of the lake house, smiling like the happiest family in America. My sister Harper had uploaded the picture with the caption, "Finally, a day without the drama." My mother had proudly reacted with a heart. While I was fighting to stay conscious, they were celebrating the fact that I wasn't there. For the first time in my life, I stopped making excuses for them. I stopped believing they would ever change. And as I looked at that photo, I remembered something they had completely forgotten. The deed to that beautiful lake house wasn't in my parents' name. It wasn't in Harper's name either. It was sitting safely inside the fireproof box in my apartment, and every single page carried only one signature: mine. I was discharged 2 days later, still weak but thinking more clearly than I had in years. When I got home, my family had already added me to a group chat for Harper's engagement party at the lake house. My mother didn't ask how I was feeling. Instead, she reminded everyone, "Let's keep the weekend drama-free." Harper privately messaged me for the first time all week not to check on me, but to ask if I could arrive early to decorate because I was always good at that stuff. I looked at the message, smiled to myself, and walked straight to the fireproof box in my closet. Inside was the original deed with my name listed as the sole owner, along with 6 years of tax receipts, insurance payments, repair invoices, and the cashier's check that proved I'd saved the property from foreclosure. Every document told the same story my family had ignored for years. That afternoon, I called a real estate agent and accepted a fair cash offer from a retired couple who had dreamed of living by the lake. By Friday, the sale agreement was signed. The house wasn't just legally mine anymore. It was officially on its way to belonging to someone else. Sunday arrived, and nearly 30 relatives gathered to celebrate Harper's engagement. My mother stood on the deck raising a champagne glass, proudly calling it **** our beautiful family home. ***. She even announced that Harper should inherit the lake house one day. I waited until every glass was in the air before calmly standing up. "I think everyone deserves to know who actually owns this house," I said, placing copies of the deed and sale agreement on the table. The smiles disappeared instantly. I explained how I'd paid over $40,000 to save the property, covered every expense for 6 years, and how the same people celebrating today couldn't spare 20 minutes to visit me while I was receiving blood transfusions. Then I delivered the final sentence. "I accepted an offer this week. The sale is complete, and the new owners take possession next month. Silence swallowed the entire yard. My mother screamed that I had betrayed the family, but no one defended her after reading the deed with my name printed across it. I quietly wished everyone a wonderful party, walked to my car, and left without looking back. A month later, the sale closed. I mailed my parents a check for every dollar they had ever contributed, and I cut contact. For the first time in my life, I wasn't carrying my family's weight anymore, and somehow, that felt like finally coming home.